Ladies and gentlemen, the Amigos. God, these guys are loco. If you're looking for a responsible, mature podcast, this ain't it. If you're looking for a lot of drinking, random nonsense, stunts, and shenanigans, you've hit the jackpot. Hosts, Albert, Scott, and Mark.
And we're live.
We're live.
Welcome to the show, Amigospc. Our guest, Jesse Camacho. I hope again. I hope I didn't butcher that.
No, you got it. That was perfect.
So you've been on Locke and Key as of recently, but you also been on a couple other spots. I think Kickass 2 was one of the ones that I saw.
Yeah, I did a little walk on Kickass 2, absolutely.
How did that go? So you just said it's a little walk on. So did you have to cast for that, or like how does a walk on work?
Yeah, it's it was kind of the standard way that these things happen. They asked me if I wanted to go in and read. It was really a small little scene with Aaron, who plays obviously Kickass in the film.
Yeah.
And I went in and had them in the audition room, and they were nice enough to invite me to set for the day. So. I went in and did it, which was a bit of a dream come true because I was a big fan of the first film. So getting to be in that environment, even for a couple hours, was like really, really cool. And Aaron was a really, really nice guy. I'm calling him Aaron. I haven't spoken to him since like the hardware
right. You guys are best friends.
Exactly.
You go to lunch every Thursday. It's
exactly. I was just talking to him before I jumped on with you guys. So
That's very cool. Does he wear at lunch on Thursdays? Does he have to wear the costume to hang out? Or?
I let him go recently.
Yeah.
Because the guy he fluctuates weight for different roles, right? So he was splitting suits, and it was just no fun for anybody. So now I just make him wear it when we hang out one on one.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
Exactly.
He doesn't want to get typecasted as Kick-Ass all the time. So that makes sense.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Very cool. But yeah, I did check out that. I did watch that scene because I was like, we're trying to do the research on, all the stuff we've done. And so I checked that out and I was like waiting. And I was thinking maybe you were going to be in like the school scene, like as a student or something. And I'm like waiting. And then I was like, no. But then I was like, oh, yep, at the police scene, there you were. I'm like, oh, there it is.
Pop up as a neighbor.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So you didn't blink when you watched it, because if you did, you probably would have missed me, which is good. You kept your eyes open the whole time.
I did.
Scott is a really he's a moviegoer, so he does look. He pays attention to those little details and things like that.
I'm the same way. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you had your own show too at one point, Less Than Kind.
Yeah.
So how? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, that was probably the other than maybe like obviously Locke and Key's been the one right now, but that was definitely the greatest experience in my professional career was being on Less Than Kind.
Well, it's more to come, man. I mean, it's gonna nothing but up from here.
Yeah, exactly
sure.
right.
Yes,
For
exactly.
Sure.
So I'm a huge fan of Locke and Key.
Where can we see Locke and Key, Mark? You have
Netflix.
There we
yes,
go.
on Netflix.
Yes.
You can find it on Netflix. Yeah. Well, we're gonna get there, right?
No.
Well, before we just started going on, I was about to tell a little story of how I stumbled across it. So I ended up getting on Netflix. I was gonna watch something with the kids. Saw this because it's TV 14, right? I'm like, okay, well, let's sit down and chat and turn this on and see what it's like. Kids were like, and walked away and found something else to do. Me and my father-in-law happened to be sitting there, and all of a sudden we realized we're like 4 or 5 episodes in and completely hooked in the entire storyline.
Yeah, I'll get you.
It's such a great show, is basically what I'm getting at. Your character is visual effects and them making a movie in this show. Not to like spoiler alert or anything, but
that's okay. That's not a big
I'm on episode 4, so that's how far I got.
I'm gonna keep that. It's a good thing you told me because I'm gonna keep that.
You're gonna spoil it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, did you drive any inspiration? Like, how did you get cast in it? Like, with the read and like
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously it kind of happened the standard way. Fun fact about Locke and Key is it's had a pretty tumultuous journey to getting on screen, right? Because obviously these great graphic novels by Joe Hill, and originally it was a Fox pilot that didn't get picked up, and then it was a Hulu pilot that also didn't get picked up, or there's creative differences or something. Finally, Netflix bought it. And I got the breakdown and I read the kind of character description and I was like, oh my God, like this is me. Like I relate to this so much. You know, I'm a big horror movie fan. And I used to love making big crappy horror movies with my friends in high school. So I was like, what am I going to do to make this kind of fun? And I said, well, I'm just going to put as much of myself in it as possible to make it as natural as possible. I went to the store and I bought a little bag of goldfish crackers.
Okay.
And during the audition, I kind of just stood there and did them. And I wore a Pennywise the Clown T-shirt.
Nice.
And they responded to me, which was amazing. Yeah, that's kind of how that all happened.
So, did you happen to get to you read the script prior to, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was your first? Okay, go ahead.
Do you mean the audition after I'd been cast? Before
Yeah.
Oh, the audition. Okay. I didn't read the whole script. I just read. They just sent me kind of the scenes of the Savini Squad in episodes 1 and 2.
Okay.
So, which was very helpful because the Squad actually is not in the graphic novels. So it's kind of new territory. It's really uncharted, which is actually kind of exciting because there's no real pre-written journey for them. We don't really know what's going to go down. But anyway, for the audition, I just had those scenes in episodes 1 and 2 to go off of.
Okay.
Very cool. Did you read the books? Like, did you know of the books before going on to this, or did you pick them up after, like, when you were kind of like?
I picked them up like after I'd been cast, but before I started shooting. Yeah. I knew what they were. I'd heard of them, but I hadn't read them. So I ordered them and I read it in like literally a day because it was just so good. It was just so awesome. It's right up my alley. Like. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I like. So it really wasn't a chore to get through them. I bombed through them in an afternoon.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So when you read the script, like, what were your first thoughts of it as you were starting to film and things like that?
Well, I mean, getting to the set, like, I kind of knew that it was something really special. I mean, I was super nervous going in because it's kind of a big U.S. show, and I'm a kind of small-time actor in Canada. So I was like, what's this going to be? I remember reading the scripts going, like, this has all the potential to be, like, a huge success. And, the writers on the show were, in my opinion, like the gold standard. You've got Carlton Hughes, who did Lost, which was like my religion in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Meredith Averill, the other kind of showrunner creator, she did Haunting of Hill House, which I really loved. So, I mean, I was like, well, you're not going to get better material than this. It's just up to, the cast and I not to screw it up. And, it just like it kind of got bigger and bigger. I got to the set, and the sets were amazing. I was like, okay, more pressure. The costumes were amazing. Like, and then I met my co-stars, and I was like, they're all amazing. So, yeah. I mean, I felt good about it pretty early on. But it was nice to see when the show came out that the reception was, pretty positive for the most part. And obviously, we got renewed, so that's super exciting. Yeah, so it's just been amazing the whole way.
Oh, there's spoiler. It's renewed.
It's renewed.
Well, on Netflix. It does say season 2 coming or whatever it says on there. You said that like the sets and everything. Like, is that me and Mark were talking before you came on? Like, that house is amazing. Do they shoot that in? Is that in Massachusetts, or do they just make you think that, or like? Is it in Canada or California, or like where are they shooting that?
Yeah, there's tons of movie trickery going on. Yeah, so it's shot. I would say 80% of it was shot in Toronto.
Okay.
And 80% of it was shot in the small town Lunenburg in Nova Scotia. Yeah, with the house, there was a real exterior. I could be wrong on this. I never actually went to the exterior house location. but I believe half of the house is real and half of it is like digitally imposed on there. And the insides are all.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, it really is like super, super cool. And walking through it, it's massive. Like, it's amazing.
Did you do any ad lib or like improv when you were filming some of the scenes with the monster, all the blood going on, things like that?
Not that scene in particular because it was so technical. Like the blood had to come at a specific time, and Amelia, who plays Kinsey, has obviously got to have a pretty key traumatizing reaction to the whole thing.
Yeah.
As we went, it's hard. The way it's written, it's like the writing of it was so strong that we never really felt like we needed to improvise. There were line changes here and there. The most improv we did is we did a fun behind the scenes Savini Squad video that's on Instagram. It was like a promo thing for the show, and we did a lot of improv on that. But I mean, those guys, the writing is so good, and also with TV, it's usually a pretty tight schedule.
Yeah.
So you just really have a lot of time. And also, I'll say for me, I was too scared at first. I was like, I'm just gonna say what's on the page, stay out of the way, and hopefully keep my job. But I do feel like they're so open there. I'm sure we could, and they'd be down for it. But it's they're so good at writing the show that I don't think that we can improve on it anyway.
You didn't need to, basically, with the script that you guys got. Okay, cool.
Yeah. But it was a joy, man, and like that group of people, we just got along. I feel that you get lucky sometimes with chemistry and stuff, and we definitely did.
Well, we did see a couple of your Instagram posts where was it at the premiere where you guys had some fun?
Oh yeah.
You drank a little bit too much water or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I can't really rat anybody else out because it was sort of all on me. You're down in LA. It's a red carpet premiere. You never know when that's going to happen again. The after party was open.
So true.
I cannot be held accountable for what happens in those situations. But it was fun, and it was
no judgments here.
Exactly. There's no regrets. It was a good night. A nice. I don't think anyone holds me accountable for whatever may have gone down. But no, it was super fun, and we were up till the wee hours, kind of just soaking it all in. And it turns out, thank God we did, because now kind of the world is kind of closed down, and I'm glad we got to make the most of it when we could. Yeah.
What have you been doing during COVID since everything's been shutting down?
Yeah.
How's things in Canada for you guys?
Well, it's funny. I'm actually in Montreal right now. That's where I was born and raised, and Montreal is like the epicenter in Canada. Got more cases here, I think, than the rest of the country. I think it's not a huge number necessarily in comparison to France, but there's like 30,000 cases, I think, in the province of Quebec right now. So it's been all right. I've been crashing with my parents. They were kind enough to let me come stay here. So I've been here for the last kind of 2 months, and we've just been laying low, watching stuff, doing some reading, going for walks, but staying in, doing what they're telling us to do, and hopefully it won't be too long before this all ends. But it's been okay. I've been doing all right.
Well, we live in Arizona here. We officially just opened up the other day.
Nice.
It's limited and they have certain restrictions on it, but the economy is back to, not back to, but we have a new norm basically.
Exactly. Yeah. I guess it's going to be a waiting game, right? To see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Has that hindered now? Because now that Lock and Key Season 2 is greenlit, is that hindering anything? Or are they just like, we have a date, but we're not sure of that date, or things like that? Well,
I was invited to the writer's room when I was in the States. They were nice enough to let me come in, and I know that we didn't know we were renewed at the time, but the tentative plan I thought was around now to go again.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that. Obviously, because of what's going on, they're talking about, I guess, the fall. It's so above my pay grade, but that is. I'm just hoping that I get invited back. No, I think. But
well, you are. I would consider you one of the main characters.
You're a main
right?
character.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like definitely in that upper group of friends that they make at the school. But yeah, my guess would be the fall. That's sort of the whispers I've heard, but everything's still subject to change, and it'll be when everything feels safest to go. But we are gonna go. When it's safe.
Is there?
Have they already? Not to. I don't know if you can even say, but have they already? Have you guys finished shooting already season 2, or like you need to start shooting season 2?
Oh yeah, we haven't.
You haven't even started yet.
Yeah, I think we would have been probably either just starting or in the midst of it now. I think that they've written it all. Again, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's all written, which is irregular for a show. Usually you're shooting it and it's still being written as you go. As far as I know, they've got the whole thing written, so it's just a matter of time. Yeah.
So once they get the green light, once everything's kind of calmed down, then I'm guessing you guys just knock it out. It's probably what the plan is, I would imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool.
Now that they know what's going on, yeah.
How do you normally get that type of information, though? Like when you need to show up, or we're moviegoers and we watch TV all the time, but we don't know like the behind the scenes.
This is behind the scenes. Is like your agent tells you, like I'm guessing maybe something like that, or it's like, hey, you need to be.
Yeah, usually. I mean, it kind of evolves. I think where a show is concerned, when you've got a big cast and everyone starts becoming friends. Sometimes, like the creators or writers will let people know, but as far as I know, usually, like I've texted Meredith and stuff, and we're in touch. But I think that the kind of the usual or the proper way, whatever that means, is they contact their person who contacts the agent for the actor.
HR? Is it HR? HR Is it HR?
They contact the agents for the actors, and they kind of tell us where to be and when to be there. So yeah, I haven't gotten that call yet, so I'm assuming that things are still at least a little bit away. But who knows? I mean, it's just such an unprecedented situation, so it's pretty crazy.
It could be like right after this ends, you get a text message, "Hey, you got to be in LA in 2 hours."
I have an email right now saying we're going next week. I have no idea, but I'm assuming it's going to be in Toronto again, and I'm assuming it'll be 5 months shoot or whatever it is, and I'll be popping up however often they'd like to have me there.
So you read the books, and then you have the script. You said there was a little variation with the squad, right? Is it still similar to the books, or are there major differences beyond what you've already mentioned?
Yeah, there are major differences. The graphic novels are a lot more brutal. They're a lot darker. They're a lot gorier. I guess by extension, scarier. But I mean, they're amazing, right? Like, it's so weird how you can have these two things. Like, the graphic novels are literally perfect as they are. They're like perfect. But I feel if you translated them kind of exactly as they were written, after like 2 or 3 episodes, people watching will be like, I can't deal with all this carnage happening to these kids. Like, so I think it was a really smart move to sort of like broaden the demographic a little bit by making it a little more kid friendly. But yeah, no. So the Citizen Squad, they're not in the comic. There are these 2 characters. There is a Scott, like in our show, Patrice Scott. There is a version of Scott from graphic novels, but he's quite different. And there's a guy named Jamal that Kent's friends with. And they go down to like light spoiler alert, but nothing major. Don't panic. They go down together with those people. But other than that, like, it's quite different.
Okay.
The show in total is concerned, there's a lot of the same story beats, but they happen in different order and like with different results. So it really does share a lot of the same DNA, but it's kind of its own beast.
Very cool.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been super fun. Sorry, I'm just making sure my wires don't get trapped here. I keep having to move them because if they get pinched, I'll be screwed.
Oh, yeah. Audio. We always have audio technical difficulties on one given episode or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to mention, I mean, with the remote stuff, sometimes the internet is kind of lagging sometimes, and it kind of slows things down. And whatnot.
Yeah, ours has gone out in the past here. I think we'll be okay, but if I disappear, that's why.
Nice.
Jesse, this is the most important thing we're going to ask you tonight. What is that? And then my screen just goes black.
Yeah, that's coming. Don't worry.
Exactly. That's what's going to happen.
Build the suspense.
Exactly.
So, is there any memorable moments that stick out to you when you guys were filming this? You said you became friends. You guys are getting to know each other more. Like, is there any little stories that maybe were off camera that you guys did that you can actually tell? I don't know.
No, nothing horrible enough that I couldn't tell it. I think the funnest thing would be Patrice Jones, who plays Scott on the show. Had a knack for scaring the hell out of Amelia, who plays Kinsey. Because she's so easy to scare. Like, you could be sitting with her having a conversation. I'm going to cover my mic a bit for this. And you could literally just be like, hey, Amelia, how are you today? And she will scream.
Really?
You don't even have to jump up behind anything. You don't have to do anything. She's just very jumpy.
Yeah.
And Patrice clocked this very early on. And he must have scared her at least 5-6 times a day. Every single day. And if you go on his Instagram, I think there's a montage of him doing it.
Yeah.
It's maybe 1/1000th of the scares that he got. I'm trying to think. The whole week that we spent, again, I'm trying to avoid spoilers. The whole week we spent in the caves was just like a bunch of kids having fun. It did not feel like work. We were just joking around and teasing each other and having a blast. And the crew, I think, was having a really good time because the show's pretty heavy sometimes.
Yeah.
I think the Savini squad stuff is much more kind of light. And I think they use us really well. I think they use the squad. They don't use them too much. They don't use them too little. It's like we're there the right amount to kind of lighten things up a little bit. Although Jackson as Bodie does that as well. Jackson's really, really great. I'm trying to think, like, specifically. I think it was kind of funny when a bunch of us flew to Lunenburg. Yeah, as I said, Lunenburg is a lot of the exterior stuff, like the outside of the town, the outside of the caves, the stairs going into the caves. So I flew there, and I'm a really, really bad flyer. So I took some Ativan to get on the plane.
Oh,
and
no.
then I also had a drink. So I think Patrice and Jeannie, who plays Jackie, were kind of laughing at me because I was very loopy on the plane. That was really fun. And obviously the premiere was a highlight from what I can remember. They all remember. I'm the one who indulged a little too much. But yeah, so there's too many to count. I'm trying to think if there was a specific silly moment. I just think there was kind of a bunch.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah.
Well, it means you had fun on set. It wasn't a job, things like that. So that's awesome.
That's why I think it's going to continue. I mean, right there alone, because it sounds like you guys are all having fun. So once you guys are having fun and everyone's having a great time, it's going to sell itself. So, I mean, you guys are on a good path, and it's a great show. It's a perfect story. Mm-hmm. So I think you guys are gonna have a good run at this for sure.
Yeah, I hope so, man. It's just we were so lucky to get the reception we did, and there's so much that's still untold from the graphic novels. And Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez, who does the illustrations, they're doing more stuff now. So like, hopefully there's stories to be told, for years to come.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what about in your past movies, shows that you've been on? Is there anything that you enjoyed that you wanted to talk about as far as like, is there like something that stands out in your film entourage of things you've done that you want to talk about?
I think what we brought up before, the show I did in Canada, Less Than Kind, was just a super, super fun kind of hidden gem show. We did well. The critics really liked the show, and we won a lot of awards up in Canada. But it the show had more lives than a cat, man. I mean, we switched networks after the first season. We had a cast member pass away, right before we started shooting our third season. And then, it was just like crazy. We were on City TV, then we were on HBO Canada. And so that was a really, really fun experience.
I didn't even know HBO had a Canada. Like,
it doesn't anymore.
Do they do something different there? It's just like just a maple leaf in the corner?
No, yeah, it was just sort of like they just aired American shows with the occasional Canadian show.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All
right. I don't really know what else much the difference is. It doesn't exist anymore. So.
It's all HBO Now or something.
Yeah, it's all HBO or whatever. Yeah, whatever it's called now. But it was cool. We led into Game of Thrones for a little while. That was pretty fun.
That's very cool. Yeah, we have HBO Latin, I think it is. But it's in the mix that you get. But that makes sense because we're in Arizona, so we're right here, and like 90% of Arizona speaks it. So I guess that makes sense.
Exactly.
In a lot of the country, I would imagine.
Yeah, you met the 10% that doesn't right here.
Yeah. We don't speak it.
Well, not at the so we're on.
Yeah. What got you into acting at the beginning?
Fun fact that my parents are both actors.
Oh, okay.
So I came out of the womb basically wanting to jump into it.
Holding an apple
exactly
doing that. Yeah, nice.
Performing the Shakespeare.
Yeah. Tis that and whatnot.
Exactly. And I think I started asking them when I was like 5 years old. Can I do it? And they were at first like, are you sure? There's a lot of rejection. It's very feast or famine. It's fun when you're working, but you're not working most of the time. But then when I was about 8 years old, they were like, all right, if you really want to try it, we'll give it a shot. And then they've been super supportive since. But yeah, it was really them who got me into it. And now my sister's an actress as well. So it's really like a family dynamic.
Family business.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Once you're in, huh?
Yeah.
So what did you start with then? Like, was it just theater a little bit, or like?
Well, I was super lucky because I kind of already had a foot in the door. My dad was like, come meet my agent. So my dad's agent at the time, and she was like, she gave me some sides, and she was like, let's see what we can do. And I remember kind of reading. She's like, all right, well, let's be out for some auditions and see what happens. I think it was more out of respect for my dad than it was anything else. Okay. I can't remember if my mom was still with that agent at the time. I'm not sure. Anyway, I was fortunate enough about a year into it to book a recurring role on this show called Tales of the Never-Ending Story, which is based on the Never-Ending Story.
Okay.
And I played Neighbor Boy, which was hilarious. And I was in a couple episodes of that. And then it was just kind of bit jobs here and there, slowly building the resume. Until, I started branching off on my own. Then I got my own agent, and it kind of just went from there. But no, I kind of just dove in and started auditioning to see if it was, a good fit. Yeah.
Well, I know that you said you feel like you had your foot in the door, but is there any tips or something you could give that someone that like a kid that's starting out and what they should do or anything like that?
The do's and don'ts for the industry.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely tough to get. Like I think I hear that a lot from people, and I know that I was really fortunate in that regard. But I would say the important thing to do is if you have a camera or a studio or a friend with a camera, just put it on a tripod and read a scene. Like get a scene from your favorite movie. Get a couple of them. Try to get like a comedy scene, a drama scene, maybe like a crappy scene from like a not great TV show to show you can do bad material. And just read them and edit them together. Again, this has to be a shot for you.
Yeah.
And then send it to agents and stuff and try to get your foot in the door that way. Because getting an agent is a big thing.
Yeah.
But you got to be careful because some of them aren't great and try to screw you and sign you to all these major contracts. But a shitty agent is better than no agent. So
it's true.
And then from there, if you're auditioning and you feel like you're doing good work, getting good feedback, don't get discouraged if you don't get the job. Keep your head down and keep doing good work because it's so political. Like, people get jobs because they've got more followers on Instagram, because they're taller, because, it usually doesn't have to do with talent. Sometimes it does. Usually it doesn't. So that would be my thing, is keep your head down, keep going, and bust your ass to get an agent.
Well, what's the saying? It's like, every no is going to lead you to that one yes,
Exactly.
So yeah.
You're going to hear it so many times. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So before COVID happened, the shows are going on. What do you do when you're not acting? Like when you're not.
Not enough.
No. Okay.
No way. Like, I should do more. I try to write as well. But in terms of, I'm kind of a weird case. I don't have a ton of hobbies. I hang out with friends. I watch movies. I go to my buddy's bar and we hang out there. I don't really have a ton to fill out my day. That I've talked to therapists about that I just don't have a ton to do. I'm lucky. I've got a nice group of friends, but you can't be hanging out with those 24/7.
Yeah.
I kind of just lay low, and I try taking a lot of content, to kind of always. But yeah, other than that, I'm pretty much a simpleton.
You mentioned bars there in Canada. What are some good bars that you would recommend to people that have been to Canada? That would be myself.
Right.
Tourists.
Tourists. Yeah, I'm a tourist. So yeah,
exactly.
what would you recommend to me flying out there to have some beer in Canada?
I guess it would depend on the city. If you're flying to Toronto, what are some good major? I like to go to kind of the smaller ones. I usually go where my friends work because we can hang out with them all night and sometimes get a discount.
There you go. Yeah, because they know people. Smart.
Yeah, exactly.
Smart.
My buddy works at a bar called 1602. It's literally just the address. It's 1602 Dundas West, and I've closed that bar down several times. There was a fun one called Prohibition, which is unfortunately closed because of the whole COVID thing.
Oh, because of Prohibition? That's what you're going to say. I was like, oh, shit. They came back? Canada, you guys are crazy.
In Montreal, there's Crescent Street, pretty famous. There's tons of bars on there. There's a couple on Hill too, and there's a couple further east of Montreal. There's a ton of great places.
Very cool. What is your drink of choice when you go? Is it beer? Or is it a mixed drink? Is it a whatever goes?
Water.
Exactly. When I'm trying to be healthy, I put that in quote.
Yeah.
I do vodka soda.
Oh, that's a good one.
When I don't care, it's whatever has booze in it.
Whatever has booze in it. Okay.
Exactly. Nothing like I'm not really opposed to anything. I'll drink beer, I'll drink wine, rum and coke. I sound like an alcoholic, but
no, you're good.
Yeah.
You're speaking to our audience, so you're fine.
Yeah.
We're just
Most of them are just making notes right now.
I was wasted in a hotel in LA, and I listened to my podcast, and then I drank this, and then I drank that.
Drink this and this.
Exactly.
Oh, that's why you shouldn't have mixed these things. No, I'm just
Yeah, brutal. But it was super fun.
So, have you ran into anybody in Hollywood that you don't like yet? Like maybe you thought you would like them. Is there somebody that you met?
You don't have to name names or
you don't have to name
like
them, but has there been somebody that has been like, you look forward to talking to this person, and it turned out being that they weren't as awesome as you hoped, or
and how was Jim Carrey?
You don't have to say. You don't have to say. Yeah, you don't have to say who it was. That's a fellow Canadian.
I befriended Jim Carrey, and he was really. I doubt he remember, but he was really funny. I went to drop off because I wasn't in the movie very much. Instead of doing a full comedy for me, they were like, "Can you just bring a couple of your own clothing, and kind of see if any of it works?" And when I went to drop it off, Jim Carrey was coming out of his fitting.
Oh, okay,
cool. And he was on a little bit. He was doing a bit of a movie thing for the costume ladies, so he seemed really nice. I've been lucky. I haven't really had. I'm trying to think like any run-ins.
You haven't had any bad like run-ins with people who are like,
no, but I know people that have. I've heard stories. I've heard stories. I won't throw anybody under the bus.
No. I wouldn't ask you to do that. But that I imagine that's a thing. Like you think it's that whole thing where you want to like your hero or like your heroes, right? But then they turn out to be not as great as you'd hope.
Yeah, right? I won't name names, but my buddy, a friend of mine, just worked with an actress, and I would have lost money. I would have she got back and I was like, I want to hear all about your day. I want to hear all about this person because I hear they're amazing and I'm such a huge fan. And she was like, nightmare.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I won't name.
No. Yeah.
So, and that you hear that all the time. But I've been first of all, I haven't worked with like 1,000 celebrities. I've worked with a couple. They've always been either very nice to me or just doing their own thing, not rude. Kind of, concentrating on what they were doing, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear those stories where they're like, oh, they let me down so much, or they're rude, or. But then again, I mean, if you're such a big star too, at some point, like, it's got to be like get out of my face kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like if it's always like on you, I'd imagine you're gonna kind of build that. I imagine over time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you definitely like. I'm trying to think if I ever worked with something like this. I know my dad has worked with a lot more kind of famous people than I have, and it ranges from people that are super rude to people that seem nice, but they're just not approachable because they're working on their thing, or exactly like you've said, they're kind of just going like, let me have my own space because I don't have my own space in real life. To super, super generous. My dad, I can say this one because everyone was super cool. If you guys have ever seen X-Men: Days of Future Past,
yeah.
My dad played President Nixon in that movie.
Oh, what?
Really?
Yeah.
He looked very familiar.
Yeah. So I got to go visit that set, and I got to at one point I was sitting in the cast chairs.
With Fassbender and.
Fassbender was there, Nicholas Hoult, James McAvoy, Jennifer Lawrence, Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, that's a pretty good cast there.
Yeah, and they were all super nice, super friendly, super kind. Like my dad was shooting, and I was sitting in his cast chair with all these people, and I'm just a stranger that they're being like, "Hey man, you want anything?" Like you're like, "I'm going to get a bottle of water. Do you want one? Are you good?" Like having conversations, being like, "Jess, what do you think?" And I was like, yeah, that was a pleasant experience. Those people were all really, really nice.
So you got really cool. Starstruck when you were there. That was going to be one of my questions to see if you got starstruck with anybody.
Yeah. Other than that, have you been? That's a good question. Other than that, have you been starstruck in a situation?
For me, starstruck kind of worked. That was a really overwhelming circumstance because there was so many of them, and we were in such close proximity. Yeah. Usually, for me, how it works with getting starstruck is I'll see the person, and for like the first 10 seconds, I'm like, oh my God. And then it kind of just wears off, right? Because they're still just standing there. And it's like, it changes from person to person. That was, again, a really weird one because I was on the set of like an X-Men movie that my dad was in. And they were all sitting in wardrobe. Jennifer Lawrence was in her Mystique garb. And so it was really crazy. Trying to think. So I've run into people at I have a funny story I can tell actually, and I can name names in it because I'm the one.
Oh yes, here we go.
Okay, so when I was doing that show Less Than Kind, after the first season, there's a big film festival in Canada, the Toronto International Film Festival. It's I think the second biggest film festival in the world.
Okay.
After Con. And I thought, because I was so young and ignorant, despite my parents telling me this was not the case, I thought I'm on a show now. So I could just go to the Toronto Film Festival and walk in whatever party I want, even though the show hadn't aired and no one knew what it was. That's just how dumb I was. I was like, I'll just show up and I'll be like, hi, yeah, I'm on Left Behind. And Access Hollywood's going to let me in their party. This is what I was thinking. So, I literally trained to Toronto. I booked myself a hotel room. My buddy Ben, who played my older brother on the show, I mean, I'm really dumb on the story. Ben was older than me. He should have known better. He flew in from Vancouver. So we're sitting in this hotel room, like, all right, like, let's put on our suits. We're all excited. I'm like, all right, what's the first stop? I'm like, I don't know. Where's the party? We don't know. Toronto, it's a huge city. But should we just go looking for a party? Like, what do we do? And so we called the publicist for the show. And we say, hey, we're in town for TIFF. And she's like, okay, do you have a movie in the festival? Like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, well, I don't know. Let's the parties. And she's kind of like, well, I can't just get you into stuff. It doesn't work that way. She goes, but you're lucky. I've got 2 tickets to the after party of this movie. I don't know if you guys have seen this movie. It's called In Bruges. And it's with Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell. Yeah.
Yeah, Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson.
It's a good movie.
She goes, yes, it's a very good movie. And she goes, I can't get you into the screening, but do you want to come to the green carpet after party? It wasn't a red carpet because they're Irish, and it was a very kind of a fun thing. So we're like, oh my God, here we go. Well, let's go. So, we did some pre-drinking at the hotel. I think I was maybe 19, 20 at the time, which in Canada, the drinking age is 18 or 19, depending on what province you're in.
Okay. You guys are so much of a better country sometimes. Sometimes.
21 is a long way to wait. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I get to this party, and I'm, God, I promise I'm not an alcoholic, but I'm pretty well off at this point. I really need to take a leak. And I'm in the middle of this party. And I go, all right, well, where's the bathroom? And for some reason, this bar, I wish I remember the name of the bar in Toronto, there was one toilet. There was a men's room and a women's room, but they were each one toilet. There wasn't urinals. It was one toilet seat and a sink. And
very progressive. Very progressive.
Yeah, this is 10 years ago. Maybe they've changed.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Maybe they knew things were coming.
Yeah, exactly. But there was a long line for the bathroom. And I was like, man, I don't know if I can wait. Like, I really got to go. And I'm kind of looking around the bar, and I'm really I'm pretty drunk. And I'm like, well, do I just go in the corner? Like, I can't leave. I don't have my pass to get back in, and they're not going to let me back in. I came all this way to be here. So I kind of grab a glass from the bar, and I'm like, maybe I'll go in the corner and go in the glass and then just dump it in the toilet when I finally get there, which is pretty disgusting. So I kind of grab this glass, and I'm standing there trying to figure out my next move. And the publicist comes up to me, and she goes, hey, Jess, I just wanted to introduce you to Colin and Brendan, who just got here. And okay. So when you need to go so bad that if you take your mind off of it for a second, it's going to happen.
Oh, so no.
While I shook Colin Farrell's hand, literally, I completely wet myself. Like 100%, not like a little bit, like emptied my bladder. Luckily, it was dark, and I had dark black jeans on.
Yeah,
nice.
They moved off. They were nice enough, but they moved off super quick. They had other things to do, so they kind of moved off. And I was like, okay, I'll catch up with you soon. Enjoy the party. I was like, yeah. And I'm just standing there, and I puddle my own piss. And I kind of go up to a waiter, and I'm like, yo, I think someone spilled their beer over there. And then I find my buddy Ben, who's with me, and I say, I need your pass because I need to go back to the hotel because I need a shower and come back. So he gave me his pass. I went back. But anyway, that's a pretty funny celebrity.
That is an awesome story.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
And I think Colin Farrell would have probably understood because he can do some drinking here, or I've heard. So,
I think
he's probably.
But I'm sure it's happened.
Yeah, I'm sure he's had a little run-in with that as well.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
So anyway,
and he's Irish, right? He's Irish. So.
And he's Irish, yeah.
Yeah, and those guys love to drink.
Yeah.
It's like in their DNA.
Exactly. So one day I'll tell him that story again, and he'll laugh in my face, I'm sure.
Yeah, like, oh, I've met you before? Probably is like some shit like that.
Yeah, so embarrassing.
That's awesome.
Or he vividly remembers you. Either one or the other.
Oh, yeah. Or that would suck. Yeah, I remember the puddles. You're the guy with the puddles?
You're the guy who I shook his hand. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, yeah, that's my embarrassing story.
I'll be honest with you. I think maybe I might do that also, standing in front of him.
I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
So you're not alone.
Thank you. I would say if you can not piss your pants, that's probably the best way to go. But
that is a good way to go.
Exactly. I obviously didn't have a choice.
That's crazy.
Have you ever thought of doing stand-up or anything like that?
Yeah, people have asked me that, and I'm a really good public speaker. I love public speaking. It doesn't make me nervous. I won a bunch of public speaking awards in high school, but there's something about stand-up where the audience is sitting there waiting to laugh that I find intimidating. Yeah. So I think I should do it. Like, I'm more nervous about writing material. I think that if somebody gave me something, I could do it.
I mean, you just wrote a whole story there.
That's what you can do right there. Yeah, you can do life story events, like things that you've
sort of the Dane Cook.
Because there's different type of comedians. Like you can talk about jokes, right? And there's like life telling, like storytelling. You could do that. Like talk about your experiences. Like you could probably do that. You'd be awesome.
That's the only reason I bring it up is because as you're telling that, I'm like, this would be a great story to tell.
It's a great story. I mean, that was awesome.
It's one of those ones where, like, obviously in the moment I was horrified, but even like 2 minutes later, I was like, you know what? I'm happy this happened because this is going to be an all-timer, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a story to tell generations for sure. I mean, not only you're meeting Colin Farrell, but you're peeing your pants in front of him. I mean, I guess that right there is funny.
I have a bit of a sequel to it.
Oh
wait, there's a part 2?
Yeah, it involves me in a different. Well, it doesn't really. I'll just tell the story. I was shooting this movie in Vancouver called Rapture Palooza, and it's not a very good movie. It's okay. I shouldn't say that. It's okay. It shares a lot of the same storyline as This Is the End, but it came out the same year as This Is the End. So, like, This Is the End was it was funnier and exploded. Anyway, so I got a nice little role in that. I was supposed to play Anna Kendrick's brother.
Anna Kendrick.
But then the other guy. Yeah. She was the female lead, and the guy who ended up being cast as my best friend looked more like her, so we switched. Which sounds like it was a big deal, but the roles were the exact same size, so it didn't really matter. And it was a really weird process. I got there and I did the read-through and I did the rehearsal, and I remember not feeling good. Everyone was nice, but I just felt it was like, I don't think they like what I'm doing. Like, I just don't think my comedy's kind of working, and I was like, I just feel that they're not really digging it. And they were really working with me, and the guy was playing my friend or whatever. Anyway, then they ended up firing my buddy. And they
like your actual buddy or your buddy in the show?
A guy that I was already friends with who got cast. We got cast together as sort of a team because they knew we knew each other.
Yeah.
And so they said, "Oh, we'll cast them both. We'll figure out which one looks more like Anna." And then and there are guys, and they fired him, and then they cut the role down significantly.
Oh wow!
And it was really, I had to win myself. I just wasn't prepared. I wasn't like, I don't know. It wasn't arrogant. I guess I was nervous. I just wasn't delivering, and I know like it was the right move for them. I guess. Felt bad for my friend who was kind of following my lead. So
yeah,
sorry, buddy. And so I get to set on my very first day, and they've replaced my buddy with another great actor whose name is Caleb Worthy, who's really, really good. And we're going about the first day, and I'm just grateful to still have the job. And my stomach starts cramping.
Oh no!
And I'm like, oh boy, go to the bathroom. And we're shooting in this house in Vancouver. And it's actually a house, it's not a set.
The Lock and Key house?
Yeah. That would be better because it'd be big enough that I could go to a bathroom.
There's like at least 18 of those in there, I would imagine how big that house is.
Exactly. And Anna Kendrick is shooting a scene with this woman, Amigospc, very famous from SNL. She played Lindsay Lohan's mom in Mean Girls. And
wait, who? Wait.
Amigospc.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
If you saw her face, you'd be like, "Oh my god, of course her."
Yeah.
So they're shooting. The movie is a spoof. It's a comedy. This is the one like somewhat serious scene in the movie that they're shooting right now, and I'm on break. And I really need to go take a dump. So I go up to one of the crew members and I'm like, "Hey, do I have time to go 10-1?" Which is the saying on set. Go to the bathroom. And they're like, "Oh, 1 second." And they kind of check and they go, "Actually, on the last shot of this scene, then we need you for a blocking. So can you just sit tight?" I'm like, I don't think you understand. Like, I need to go to the bathroom. Like, it's gonna happen. And they go, "Well, you can't. It's a live set. If you flush the toilet, the sound is gonna pick up on it."
Oh no.
Oh.
So I'm like, "All right, was there a trailer nearby, or can I go back to base camp?" And they go, "Well, it's a 10-minute drive to base camp. They're gonna be ready for you in 10 minutes. Just sit tight. It's gonna be quick." And I'm like, "It's not gonna happen." So I kind of sneak off, and I find my way to the bathroom, and I go in, and I do what I need to do, and I'm waiting to flush. I'm trying to hear if they're filming, or I'm hoping to wait to cut so that I don't ruin a take. So I peek out the door, and I can't hear anything, so I just take a guess, and I flush. Of course, I hear a commotion upstairs. Like, "Oh, who flushed the toilet?" Like, "Cut. Okay, we can't use that one."
Oh no!
I hear them like, "Who's in the bathroom?" And I'm like, "Yeah, boy." And the way that this house was organized was the bathroom was like the last door down a hallway. There was nowhere to go, and there was like a stair. I'm trying to remember. It's like this is 10 years ago now. There's like a staircase coming down, so I had nowhere to run. And I hear them like they're gonna be coming down.
So you plan an escape? That's awesome.
So
you tried to plan an escape.
The smart thing that I did was I left the bathroom door open.
Yeah.
And I could see them coming down the stairs. And so bad. I went into the shower bathtub, lay down, and closed the curtain.
Oh, smart.
And just stay there like this,
yeah.
holding my breath. And I heard like a crew member come into the bathroom. Luckily, I guess he wasn't expecting someone to be so immature to hide in the tub that he kind of just looked and saw the room was empty and left. And a couple minutes later, I got up and I snuck out again, and I managed to get away. I think the person that I asked to go to the bathroom, I think they figured it out, but they didn't say anything.
Smart.
Anyway, like an hour later, I was
because he was on the hook too, though. I mean, he told you go ahead, right?
Well,
so it's like
he asked me to wait.
Oh, so yeah.
And so like a little while later, after we walked that next scene, I was sitting with Caleb, who played my buddy in the movie. This guy, John Francis Daly, who was great. He was in Freaks and Geeks and a bunch of stuff. And then Anna Kendrick, and we're all kind of sitting and talking. And Anna's talking about how she likes being back in Vancouver. She shot the Twilight movies here, and all this stuff. And she loves the crew, and she was being really complimentary. And then she goes, there's sometimes things are weird. Like she goes, somebody flushed the toilet in the middle of our scene before. Like that's sort of a move. And I just looked at her and I was like, that's terrible. I mean, I don't know who would do that.
Who would do that?
Awful. That's awful. So that's my other kind of story. I've got a lot of, for some reason, I'm always shitting and pissing with celebrities. It's terrible.
It's because it's something to do. You know what? That's how you're more down to earth with us, Jesse.
I guess.
Yeah.
You are a normal walker among humanity.
Maybe. I don't know. It was scary, man. Lying in that tub.
That was like you're going to be taken. Like, was Liam Neeson like outside of the door? Like, that's how I figured that. That could have been a different, like a Canadian version.
Yeah,
of Taken.
I don't know what I would have done. And the reason I was so scared was if that had happened like on the set of Less Than Kind. I mean, I wouldn't have been rude about it, but I would have come out and been like, guys, I'm really sorry I had to go. And they'd be like, it's okay, don't worry, it's fine. but because I barely hung on to the job, it was like a big Hollywood movie. I just I took the gamble, but I don't know what I would.
Your days were numbered. You felt so that's.
If they had opened the curtain and saw me, I don't know what I would have said. Like I don't know what would happen.
You woke up.
No. You know what you should have said? You should have been like, that wasn't me. The guy just left. I was thinking
Exactly. Exactly.
The guy just left. I was just laying here.
Exactly. Or just panic and look at them and be like, "Can I get some privacy,
Yeah.
please?"
I'm trying to take a nap.
That flush woke me too.
Exactly. Whoa, that was so weird. Yeah, it was bad. Like it felt like a scene out of a movie. It was just crazy. I was so scared, man.
See, that should have been in the movie because then we would have remembered the movie.
Exactly. Like, yeah, drag, man. That movie was funny. It was a great director. It was a good cast. The script was funny. It was just circumstance.
I like Anna Kendrick, so I'm going to check that out or at least look into that for sure.
She's so cool. She's probably it's tough. The Locke and Key cast members are great too, but she might be the smartest actor I've ever worked with in my life.
Oh wow,
really?
Just the questions she asks and the way she carries herself on set, it's like I'm acting since I was 8. I mean, I'm not an expert in any way.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, I think I know how this all works. And she was asking questions and making choices that I just never even considered. You see why she's the gold standard. It's very, very obvious. And super nice, super sweet.
She seems like she would be cool and like everything you're saying, like cool, smart, and like funny, like all the above. That's what I would think she would be.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad she wasn't one of those like, oh, she was horrible to work with.
No, I named her, so she's all good.
Yeah,
you're right.
You're in their good graces, or they're in your good graces.
Like I said, I really try to remember. Like, I never really worked with anyone that was super rude. Like, I've heard more stories than I've experienced myself.
That's where the good segue is season 2. We'll see what happens.
Exactly. I was going to say, I'm changing myself now. Everyone I work with the rest of my career,
there's going to be a rude person there.
they're going to bully me relentlessly for the whole shoot. Excuse me.
That's funny.
We appreciate that you came on. Everybody needs to look out for season 2 of Locke and Key. So once that comes out, before we let you go with everything, could you tell us where we can find you on social medias and all that stuff? Again, we really appreciate that you came on to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me come and vent about how my bodily fluids portrayed me at the appropriate time. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. I'm very bad at both, but I try. On Twitter, I'm at Jesse115115. That was my homeroom in high school, and I've been too lazy to change it ever since.
Nice.
And I try to be funny on Twitter, and I probably have about one funny tweet a year. So that should tell you about how often I swing and I miss. Also,
all right, so let's re-talk about our comedy endeavors then.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
I talk a lot about Survivor. I'm a big Survivor fan. So if you follow me on Twitter, I apologize for the hot takes on Survivor. On Instagram, I'm Jesse J.D. Camacho. My full name is Jesse John David Camacho. And there's some fun behind the scenes stuff on there. Some bad pictures about the fact that I can't get a haircut because of the quarantine.
Quarantine, yeah.
But some fun stuff on Instagram. I'm still trying to find my identity, so we'll see.
Okay. Is there anything else in the pipe beyond Locke and Key?
Yeah,
you can at least say or maybe hint to,
or in the works, or your stand-up career. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get my stand-up career on. I am developing a show with one of the guys from Less Than Kind, Chris Shayscreen, kind of about. It's a perspective show, kind of like Master of None. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that show. It's a great show on Netflix with Aziz Ansari. But anyway, it's a point of view show.
I've heard of it, but I've not seen that one.
Okay, yeah. It basically, what I mean by that is it's character driven. It's not plot driven. It's about a point of view more than anything.
Okay.
And it's centered around a guy who's very much like myself. He's quite overweight, wants to be an actor. It's about how his weight sort of affects him in his love life, his everyday life, his career life. and so I'm working on that. We're still kind of developing it, but hopefully somebody will pick it up soon. Thanks for letting me shout it out.
Yeah, not a problem at all.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, so I'm going to end this real quick.
Well,